So, bitteschön.
Geht das mit der Lautstärke sonst oder soll ich es lauter
Geht
machen?
wunderbar. Wir sind jetzt live, genau, zu unserer weiteren Sendereihe Tantra, Beschwerden lindern durch Tantra-Massagen mit Anjoka und Silja. Wird gleich noch vorstellen. Ich wünsche euch eine ganz wunderbare Sendung.
So, hello. We have today the TV interview about the issue how can tantric massage be useful for women who would like to get pregnant and have problem with this. My name is Anjoka Posse. I work as a sexual therapist and give tantric massage in Leipzig in a massage studio. And I'm very happy that I can interview today Silja Rehfeld. Silja Rehfeld is in Berlin now and she gives interview through Skype. Hello Silja.
Hello.
Hello. Can you tell a few words about your profession, about your passion for the work with tantric massage?
Oh, that can be a long life. Well, I actually started my work as being a midwife, which I actually be for 17 years now. And that, of course, includes a lot of body work and a lot of understanding of energy works, and especially working with sexual energy during deliveries, during conceptions, and other processes that happens in the body. Yeah, so my passion grew with every delivery, and now I'm also working as a dakini, or as we say at the university, it's a psychosexual somatic work, so as a therapist. And I also give tantric massage and body dearmoring sessions, external and internal, also including the genitals, of course. And it's just an amazing work. I mean, my heart just opens and blossoms every time. How much you can open up a person, how much you can bring things back into flow, and how somebody can go into a total transformation through such work.
Great, great. I'm very happy that we have today this interview with you. So I know you from the festival United Bliss in Berlin, what you also organize. Mm-hmm. And I have some question for you about this issue, pregnancy and women who would like to get pregnancy and can't. How often do women ask you for support because they have problem to get pregnant?
Well, it's really interesting. First, they have to realize that there's something that they can't achieve. And then, of course, they usually always go the classical medicine ways. They get all kinds of checkups and, blood samples, ultrasounds, all kinds of things. And I would say in like at least 70%,
wow,
there is no problem with that.
So 70%.
The ones who don't accept that there are other issues they have to take care of, they do this for a long while. They ruin their relationships, they do all kinds of things with their body, and go through a lot of processes which are really more traumatic, I think, than anything else. And but some women are smart enough to really drop everything and start listening to their body. And really try to figure out, okay, what is my body telling me? What do I need to understand? And there's so many issues. Is it the right person to have a child with? Is it, why do I want a child? Is it for me? Is it because of expectations of others? Do I have to prove something to the world or to myself? Or do I try to bound my partner on me because we're having a child? Or do I have any traumatic experience? Do I really want a child? Or is there something that actually holds me back? And then there can be, of course, a lot of energetical blockings in the body that there's actually no flow and no possibility for this magic that should happen between a man and a woman. I mean, it's not just the semen and the egg. There's also a little bit of stardust you need to unite, and to really see if that is happening. And and Tantra massage would be one possibility to start to get to know your body again, to really trust and surrender in letting go, which I think it's a big issue in our society, control and letting go, and also to learn how to really go into relaxation. A lot of us women these days have so many things on our list and so many things we have to be and we have to do that a lot of times we never learn how to relax. And that's a big issue, I would say.
It will be my next question.
Oh, good.
It will be my next question. I just wanted to ask you, when you know that the woman has some problems and how you can support, I would like to ask you, what kind of support do you give in this case? Do you speak with a woman? Do you invite to get the tantric massage, or do you do something else? What do you do?
There's also different possibilities, and I also always try to figure out, okay, with what kind of person do I work with? Which background does she have, and where does she comes from? And try to look a little bit at her beliefs and her conditioning and the patterns she lives after. And then, of course, you can give the therapeutic work many words and many titles. So for some women, it's really important to not stop talking because they're talking all day. And they try to analyze everything they do in their mind. So for them, it's really good just to get a bodywork session offered and just go for the experience and then talk after.
Right.
And for some women, it's important, of course, to have a little talk, to feel safe with you, to get to know you a little bit and maybe get an idea of what will happen, of course. And some women need longer times, and it's a more therapeutic session to ask them questions, because I always tell them, I'm not a magician, but I can offer them all my tools and my knowledge and everything else to make it happen for them. And of course, it's painful sometimes to realize things that you don't want to see. And the body work is usually for these women very, very, very touching. They have never been touched like that before. And it's very, very touching to see how they realize things just with getting conscious touch and attention and space. And like I said, there are different possibilities. And the body work, tantra massage, de-armoring, there's also many works you can use for different types of body work. But it really gets you to the cellular memory that all of our bodies have basically, inside, things we're not aware about or not conscious about, including our own birth traumas. Maybe there was sexual abuse, maybe there was rape in the history, maybe it wasn't even physical abuse, but some kind of, through language, through the parents or partners, or, a lot of things that will not be mentioned around having children, actually, but still really immensely disturb the process. And also to really have a look at the partner. What kind of partner have I chosen? And is it the one I should have children with? Or what are the reasons why I choose this person to have children with? These are all very important things. And I give little homeworks, not too much at a time, because I want them to relax. I give them meditations, and there's also included a little bit of theta healing to learn them and to teach them. It's similar to hypnobirthing, that you teach them to get into contact with the theta frequency. It's the meditative state of your mind, and that's what we also naturally go in during birth, to be able to have access to all the good drugs that our body is able to produce. And also to learn how to be into your parasympathicus. This is basically, the sympathicus is your fight and flight modus in your body, and the parasympathicus is the one you go into deep relaxation. You digest, you conduct. And a lot of us forget this part of our body. We're constantly running and be functional and stop learning how to relax. So these are things: relaxation trainings, breathings, meditations, physical body work, yoga if possible, or other things that you like. Floating is awesome, floating sessions with women. And then, of course, the de-armoring work is really going into the deep mud, really working on the body and go step by step through and layer by layer through things that hold you, that are you holding back, and also which stop your sexual energy from flowing, which is the energy we're made of. And then it goes up to the de-armoring, which I'm doing for 17 years by now. And that also includes the insides of our genitals, where a lot of women don't know how much they actually store there.
Yes, it's what about very interesting. You give also the massage of yoni. Yoni is a word for the female genital area. And so you say to me you give the massage of cervix. Can you explain more? How do you do it?
Well, I like to use the word de-armoring because a lot of women really, really have an armor there. They have really lost the contact to the inside of their genitals because they never experienced it or never had somebody to experience with, or only do it the way they have been taught from others. And how you do that, you really explore the vagina. There's I know at least about 400 points inside the vagina. Only
400 points. Amazing.
400 points. So it takes a while to get to know them. And I don't know if I'm at the end yet, but 17 years brought me about 400 points. And it's similar to the Tibetan teachings. They also talk about 400 points and different rings. It's interesting also, of course, of different types of orgasm you can have in that awesome area. About scientists are still not sure if it's 15 or 17, but that's just a side information. But you really go inside the vagina and you really go through every single point. They're also connected like acupressure points and acupuncture points, and there's different types of things you can feel. There can be scar tissue, there can be little knots, there can be sedimentations, I think is the right word for it. It's like toxins which somehow are stuck there and needs to be released. It's a lot of work, and depending on how old you are, how many sexual partners you had, and other experience you went through in your life, it's quite some stuff to go through. And I do it with my fingers, and it's really about finding these spots and then also guiding the women, because if something hurts, women contract. Everybody contracts, something hurts. So it's really a teaching to stay with this feeling and use certain breathing techniques and really learn how to go into expansion, because this is a big keyword for a lot of women. It's expansion. These days most of us orgasm through contraction, but that's not the way we actually do it as a female goddess. It's about expansion.
What does expansion mean? What does it mean?
Expansion really contraction, you would contract. And in expansion, you really go into an opening, almost sometimes into a pushing outwards. And this is also a totally different experience in a sacred union with a beloved one when you learn how to go into expansion. This is also something that helps to get pregnant because you're really opening up what comes. And it's not about contracting. And then it's basically somehow cleaning your door. The goddess door is the cervix. And if your door is not clean, you won't open. Not for getting pregnant or not for any other kind of pleasure. So you step by step find out these points, find out these sedimentations, this scar tissue, these little knots, and you really layer by layer try to get rid of it. And sometimes you can only do a few, sometimes you can do a handful, depending on what somebody's able to take. And it's also not a lot mechanic, because I more feel like a filter. Like if I touch these places, it's a lot of energy that gets into a movement, and it's more like you can also take negative energy out of the yoni. And it feels like it gets through my arm into my body, and then I can actually let go of it for that person. So you actually act like a filter. And of course you also have to guide that person to really feel into, and also in the sensations, and also in the feelings and emotions that come up during these moments. And a lot of times, a lot of insights come up touching certain points. And women are quite amazed that they're actually quite numb down there, or have no actually clue where you at a certain moment, or where to push, or even how to contract, because they really lost a lot of connection to their genitals, or even their lower part of the body. Some of them go to the belly button, and that was it. So not the lower parts. It's down there, things you don't talk about. So there's a lot of work to get the connection back, to get the energy flowing, and to clean the door. And the dearmoring plays a big part of it. And I mean, you can dearmor all the chakras. And for a lot of women, it's also quite important to actually dearmor their throat and their tongue. Because if this gets into relaxation and expansion, it also does the cervix. Most of the women have a connection between here and down there. So this is also an important.
You also dearmor this area during the massage.
Say that again.
Do you also dearmor the area, during the massage of the cervix, the area of mouth? Did I understand it right?
Sometimes I do it in separate session. Sometimes I even do it at the same time. That I work in the same time on the cervix and inside the throat or the mouth. Yes. So that is there's also a lot of men have a lot of storage here as well, but for the women that's a deep connection to the pelvic floor and the cervix, of course, and really their entire throat and their jaws and their mouth and also their tongue. It's quite amazing how much that is connected actually. And I think sometimes even after getting a cervix massage or de-armoring or just getting conscious about your genitals, I think sometimes even the voice of people change. It sounds so much more grounded when you really get into the earth connection again with your ground chakra, your pelvic floor, your cervix. And to be really in a good flow, you need to be solid on 2 feet and then also be able to connect to the top and the bottom, of course. And I think the yoni massage is an awesome way to start this connection, because women usually never experience that somebody does that only for their benefit, and not for their benefit, without any expectations, without goals. And I think Tantra massage, for example, is an awesome way to learn them how to enjoy that. and also teach them what feels good and what doesn't feel good. And hey, I didn't know I can feel like this. And wow, this is like totally different than it expected to be. And some women also enjoy very much to be touched by a woman because they don't feel judged, they don't feel shame, they don't feel expectations. They really feel it's only for their own benefit. You just serve that person. And that's already an amazing experience. And then you can easily start going into the honoring work after building up some trust and some juiciness, because women need to be in the element of water to be able to receive and also to give birth.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You need to be warm and watery and juicy.
Yes. What do you think? How can partner support the woman when when the couple would like to have baby, and how can partner give support in this case?
Oh, it's a lot what they can do. They always think they can't, but it's actually a lot they can do. I mean, starting with being conscious about why do you want that child. And I mean, if you really have the time and the heart for it, you can choose, actually everything. I would change my diet. I would start taking certain nutritions, which are also very important for the body to be able to nourish another little person inside you. And you can do that with your partner together. And women feel very cared for if partners take over these responsibilities, like cook for them, prepare special food, and kind of really go into this feeling, I want to be pregnant with you, and I care, and I want to be part of the whole thing. And they can also start doing preparation classes, conscious birth classes with them, and learn how to be supportive. Be a real man. I mean, be present. I always tell the men under the deliveries, like, you can't do it for us, and it's not necessary, but you can be the rock. I mean, the real rock. And as more present the man can be, as sooner and quicker it's for us women to totally let go. We just trust and surrender. And then actually our body takes over, because all of us women know how to deliver a baby. We're made for this. We're designed for this. We just need that person that gives us the possibility to click our little switch and just go for it. And that is something which is awesome to teach men during pregnancy, because a lot of women are getting more sexual than usual. They get softer, they get more feminine, some of them they have more breasts. So a lot of men are very attracted by these mix of Venus, motherly Venus, and they really enjoy to put oil on their tummy, put oil on their breast, massage their bags, all these lovely rituals you can do in the morning or before you go to bed. And then you can teach them how to even do a great yoni massage, only for the benefits of the becoming mother or their goddess, and really learn how to be present. And learning how to be present, it will change the whole relationship. I mean, and it's also amazing. It cracks my heart every time when I see how men manage to be present during birth, and how women in that moment where they need them the most get their trust and support. And that really changes the whole relationship. I mean, if we can get this trust into a man because he's there where we need him most, it changes everything. And it's so lovely to see that this is the start of those two to become family. And I mean, how much better can that be? And you can really develop that also with getting pregnant. Really massaging, changing your diet, create little rituals. Don't have sex like just because or after the clock or, like now. Just really create beautiful evenings, rituals, and really celebrate this idea and this wish. and maybe even create a special vacation and a lot of relaxation.
Yeah.
And that usually works wonderful.
Yeah. It's so beautiful. It's so beautiful. Do we have questions? It's for the people who also show now this interview. We are in live stream, and it's possible when you have question, please call and ask. Celia Rehfeld will answer these questions. Our telephone number you see on the how to say it in English, on the stream on the stream. And you can just call, and I continue to ask Celia other questions. As you told about that, the duo of women can be how to say, dirty, but it's energetical, not clean. I would like to understand it more deeper. What does it mean? Because the vagina, does it mean that the vagina can save the negative energy, and that's why it's needed to be cleaned?
It actually can, and I mean that's even scientifically proved, and you can actually experience that. I mean, I started to learn to watch for these points during deliveries, and it was quite awesome to see during the time I was working on it what kind of things women released. Like, you were holding a point and all of a sudden they were talking about their third birthday, or another time where somebody tried to touch him. I mean, it came up a lot of stored memory out of nowhere just by finding the right spot. And I mean, that's quite obvious, but energetically, you say that every partner we actually have been with, and to be more specific, who actually ejaculated inside us, leaves their personal fingerprint inside us for at least 7 years.
Oh, really? Wow.
And that's a long time. And depending on which person you decided to be sexual with or to have intercourse with, it's sometimes you get a whole lot of things and bad experience on top of yours, which are actually not yours. And a lot of women have a lot of stuff collected because, I mean, times change. We have a lot of different partners. For my understanding, women get less careful with using condoms these days. Again, I think it goes a little backwards. So for me, when I talk about conscious conception, it's not about only to get pregnant. It's really to understand, do I really want to merge with that person? It's like you make love with a USB stick. Do I really want all these information from this person inside me for 7 years? It's really a conscious choice. I mean, you can also, when you're more developed, you can of course build up little sheets, your own energetically shields, that you're not that triggered or touched by these things. But a lot of women are totally unconscious about that, and they carry all these negative energies from other men inside them. And a lot of times after we clean this out, it really happens that they get pregnant quite quick. It's quite amazing. And I mean, in Norway, for example, I call it fertility massage, because they don't work with tantra massage. It's not something you can do there, but as an official fertility massage, I even have gynecologists sending the women for fertility massage, because they understand if the door is not clean, they won't receive. So it's always also a process of understanding. And it's quite amazing what comes up. I have a lot of women I meet with men, they try for 10 years, and then they break up the relationship. And I meet them like 4 weeks later, somewhere on the street with a different partner, and they're already pregnant. And they were pregnant like the second time they made love. So it's also really important to choose who you want to have a child with. And these times it's so hard because so many things in our environment also changed. You know, women are not following their heart and their stomach anymore. You know, they first ask for the account numbers. I'm exaggerating, yeah? And what they have to score, instead to go for that man that makes your knee melt, which makes you almost pee your pants when he kisses you because of that oxytocin that you get a taste of in your body. Or the one that smells so awesome that you just want to die and to be taken by that person. These are all sensations and things that are actually the right persons to merge with because they're genetically good for us. And not the ones that fit into our mind pictures of how somebody has to be. And with these persons, you usually get pregnant quite quick and easy because this is what's supposed to merge. And of course, a lot of women don't want to see this because they picked somebody and that's the one who has to be the one. And then they get quite disappointed if it doesn't work.
Yes, I see.
Really learn how to listen to your heart and just to your stomach. And I think receiving body work, this is also very good for women to really get back into their intuition and their heart and their stomach and really listen to their body. Because when we're honest and true to ourselves, to any question we have, we get an answer. It might not be in the same second, but the answer is always there, always, and usually quite clear.
What would you say when, for example, the couple or woman go to the center and make the medicine test, and after this medicine test, they know that they don't have the chance to get pregnant on natural way? Can body work or tantric massage be also useful for these people?
I do believe so. And because, like I said, if women really learn into going into relaxation, we're kind of trying to do some kind of studies on that right now, that through body work, massage, and energy work, that your entire organs you need to multiply actually have a better blood circulation, so that you have a better vascular system, which also gets activated through a lot of body work and nutrition and energy work, so that we actually feel like the uterus comes closer, the cervix comes more forward, gets more central to merge with the head of the penis, that the tubes get more open so that it's easier to find the way through, things like that. And also teaching men how to actually learn how to consciously use their sexual energy in their body to actually also raise up the quality of their sperms. Because if you really plan to reproduce, then it makes sense to also change the quality and the quantity. And through tantra massage and conscious use of sexual energy, you have access, or you can learn to have access to these kind of techniques, which also serve the project then, of course.
So that means that also the men who have a bad quality of sperma can learn what?
Yeah, a lot of times the men have, they never want to talk about it. Usually we are the problem, of course. But in a lot of cases, the men are, they're too slow, or it's kind of mean, they swim in different directions, or they have multiple heads, or the quality is just miserable. And that is also something, we are in the matrix. And I mean, how many men walk around with their cell phone in the pocket of their pants? I mean, you grill your testicles, you grill the whole quality of your sperms, and it's also about what you eat. There you can also do a lot with nutrition, with like maca and L-arginine and OPC and a lot of other things. So usually I check the mouth water, and then I can tell them actually which minerals and nutrition they're missing, and then we can set up a plan to raise the quality. And then they can also learn how to do an ejaculatory choice, meaning to really collect a certain amount of sperms in a good quality and then really place it on the right time, on the right spot. And then, of course, you can also add positions. And a lot of women and men who receive tantric massage and learn how to relax their body are much more flexible. And when you're much more flexible, then you can try a lot of cooler positions to bring the sperm in the right spot. So there's a lot of angles to look at that to make it work.
Great. So I like it. The body became flexible, and also the sperm became flexible and can also reach cervix.
Yeah.
Okay, would you say is only one tantric massage enough to become the feeling of body, to be consciously, to be relaxed in the body, and can only one massage solve the problem with pregnancy?
I would probably say one is not enough. Definitely not in that kind of issue. I mean, there are people who receive one tantric massage and they change their entire life because they found something they have been looking for, definitely. But in that case, especially for pregnancy, first of all, we need to learn how to trust as women. And that usually doesn't happen with the first experience. I mean, some do, because you were just there on the right time, on the right day. But usually, in general, if you have these very masculine women, it's also a goal to be pregnant, and yeah, they're very controlled and organized, and they make an appointment and they come to the appointment, and then they already say in the first sentence, okay, I only have these 2 hours, we have to be on time because I have another appointment. So this is something they already have to learn. It takes the time it takes, and if I make the decision to be here today, I fully commit to it, whatever it takes, and these are little steps you have to do. So sometimes that doesn't work with the first one. And what I do sometimes, if people really cannot afford it, you can also make different styles, or you can have the men join the massage, for example, and you can at least teach the partner of that person how he can do little parts himself at home. That's also quite beautiful. And they get to know each other very well. And I've seen couples delivering with me where he did the massage on her during the delivery for the irritation of a lot of people working in that place. And he just constantly did it the whole time. And they were so in their own bubble that I could have just sat there and cried because it was so holy. And he could have just get the baby out there. He did the perineum massage. He did the labia massage. He was singing and talking to her the whole time. He massaged her sacrum, and he moved her legs and her hips. It was just lovely, and she delivered in a very beautiful way.
Oh, beautiful.
So
I love it.
And that's we can also teach during the sessions. And different people have different ways to do things, and there is no right or wrong. You just have to, hold space for it and give them an idea how things could be. And then they figure out a very personal, own, beautiful way of doing that with each other. And I think bodywork is a door for that and an entrance to have these kind of experience. But during the pregnancy, they need some more time. Also the men, they really want to learn how to cultivate sexual energy. It takes a little bit of time, patience, and effort, but it's not impossible, and it's definitely worth it.
Yeah. When you give the cervix massage, how long it needs? How much time do you need for good cervix massage?
Any sessions. My minimum session is 2 hours. I don't do
only
anything
for cervix massage. Is this only cervix massage or the whole body work?
cervix massage, but I'm not only doing cervix massage because that doesn't work. Because I have to open up the body first. Because if I then crack certain things in the genital areas, and especially on the cervix, and it wants to move, it really pops up through your body. It doesn't make sense if I have not opened up the body before, because then it can't move. So it's not going to do it different. So I usually work on the sacrum, I work on the spine, I work on the neck, I work on your face and the jaws. Sometimes I take the legs, depending on how stiff somebody is, even hands and arms. And then I usually place them in a very comfortable place with their legs over my legs. And then I usually do a cervix massage. I have done it in any position. Some women said they can just stand up. Well, then they stand up. I had women be on all four because I couldn't reach the back of their cervix. So we just turned around and, so you can reach the last little spot and angle to really feel the whole cervix. And it's actually even more effective if you do it during the period. It's a cleansing process, and the cervix is softer and comes forward a lot more than in the other times of the months. So if women have no problem with bleeding a little bit during such a jawring or cervix massage process, that's even more effective, actually.
No, it's good information.
And I also work with pregnant women, which a lot of people don't do de-armorings on already pregnant women. Because this is also helpful to go, usually I see them around like 10 weeks, and then about 28 or 30 weeks, and then shortly before the end, to really take a lot of imprints out. Because what I experienced, if we work on the cervix, of course, very carefully, and I know what I'm doing, because you can also produce early contractions, so it should not be somebody just trying to mess with the cervix if you're not know what you're doing. But if you do, and together with the women, you create a very safe field and teach her how it is to expand there, how to let it come forward, and also go through all the points which still hurt, or the ones where you feel scar tissue. You massage it so long till it kind of disappears or is able to stretch again, or the blood circulation comes back. And that really served all of them where I did it to during the time of dilation and the birthing process. It's very nice to see. I get like emails 5 pages long, how the whole delivery was. It's really nice afterwards, and how the cervix opened and how everybody was so impressed. And
great.
Yeah, and how much they had it under control. It's kind of awesome to see how the hospital people are like, wow, she exactly told us what was happening. And because they got so in touch with that part of their body that they tell the people in the hospital, so now my baby did this and this, and now I think it's open like that, and now it comes farther down. And they're like, and they were always right. And I think that's what to do. Us women, we need to really, really fight to get our power back, to really see what we're actually capable of. It's amazing. It's the biggest transformation in a woman's life, to give birth. To give birth to a child, or to actually give birth to yourself. Allow yourself to be who you are. And you can also give birth to yourself another time. Maybe the first time wasn't as you wanted it with the parents you choose. You can do it now again. There's never too late.
Yeah, great.
It's so maybe it's also important to know, since we are talking about these questions. When you had a traumatic birth yourself, then what I observe a lot is that a lot of women also have these imprints deep inside their body, and when they try to get pregnant, it holds them back because it was traumatic, conscious or not conscious. And when we start working on that topic, and they figured it out, and we could get rid of it, then you can basically almost reset the heart plate. So you can basically reset the cassette.
Is it possible, really, to reset their own birth experience?
It's really possible to activate it again, to really recreate these moments and go through it with the conscious guiding. And it's very important because when you listen to all your friends in your surrounding, most of them say the first delivery was a nightmare. It took forever and it was so painful, not all of them, but a lot. It's always the first child which is the hard one. Why is it the hard one? Because the first child always gets the backpack of the family and yourself. Because if we haven't took care of our own birth experiences, then we pass on our experience on the first child. So we recreate actually our own birth with our first child we're getting.
I see.
So it's very important. If something happened during your own birth that wasn't serving you for the rest of your life, take care of it before producing your own children. Because you can change history. If you take care of it, it will never be passed on again in your family loop. And that's quite amazing.
And how can I reseed this experience of own birth? How can I do it?
Well, you can really do rebirthing sessions. And I mean, sometimes I combine the tantric massage with the rebirthing session. So through the massage and other types of body works I'm capable of, I can reactivate these kind of cellular memories, and also what you have, which the information you have in your limbic system. It's a part of your brain, which in the time where you were in the womb of your mother and your early childhood, it was not connected to your neocortex, which is actually this part of your brain, which is actually your mind later on. So all the informations that in the womb of your mother, during the time where she gives birth to you, the entire pregnancy, the early childhood, you just take in information. Yes. And your brain is not capable to figure out yet, is this information serving me later in my life or is it not?
Yeah.
And out of this information, a person creates their comfort zone. And that is, I mean, it's a big thing of what kind of person you are later on. And if you have been born in love, showered in oxytocin, because your parents really choose to receive you. They wished for you to be with them. They really welcomed you. They have been there for you. You had a beautiful delivery. I mean, you are showered in oxytocin, which is your love hormone. And this is also a hormone you activate through body work. I mean, even the softest touch, when you get shivers, and you produce oxytocin in your body. And that's a lovely part of Tantra massage as well. And when you're full of oxytocin, then you can love yourself. And when you can love yourself from the inside, you're a free person. You don't need love, appreciation, and approval from the outside world constantly. Through food, through clothes, through other stimulants, and through certain things you have to be to do to be somebody. You just love yourself. And I think that's also something you can get back through the body work, and especially through conscious conception, conscious pregnancy, and of course, a birth full with a lot of oxytocin and love for your partner, for yourself, as a couple. And hopefully you have a midwife who can hold space and hold the love as well.
Celia, do you educate also the people who don't have experience, for example, for rebirthing techniques? For example, in the teaching, in the usually teaching of tantric massage, there are not so deep point about how rebirthing techniques can be used during the tantric massage. And some people have interest to be educated also in the special area. Do you educate?
I do, but actually I'm kind of holding back on this because I also made the experience that a lot of things have been misused, or that all of a sudden a lot of people offer de-armoring sessions and have actually no clue about it at all. And also have not understand that it's not only mechanic, that it's also a lot of energy work. And the person who does it has also has also been through all these processes, which I think is very important, and also needs to be capable to be in a clean aura, to not project anything of your stuff on that person, and also to not create situations through your own traumas. So you have to work with your own stuff, your own mutt first, before I think you should be working on people like that, of course. But there are a few, and usually my advice is to go through the experience first yourself, run through all of it, and then slowly go step by step into learning how you can provide this kind of space for others. And each of us has their special way to do it, of course, and their special ingredient to add something to it, of course. But yeah, it's only a few now, and right now I did it only with women, actually. I still was holding back on the men. I rather teach to educated women. I do a rebirthing class at least several times a year at the university where I'm teaching at. So it also gets a little bit more professional. It's called Integral Transsexual Sexuology and Tantric Science, actually. And here we also have the possibility to do these kind of studies that this world we live in sometimes need to believe things or get interested into things, so that we can also work with some evidence-based stuff. And there we teach several things in the university, of course, to our students. And yeah, also the very classical tantric Tibetan style. And yeah, the rebirthing classes. So there is a lot of education. And in April, I'll start a year training. It will be a year long, and it will be, the half will be in Sweden, and the other half will be in Berlin. So that will also include parts of your primal conditionings and patterns. It will have the rebirthing part. It will also have a de-armoring part, yes. So these are options that are coming up in the next year.
Yes, yes. Where on which homepage is it possible to get more information about the university and the courses you will give next year?
Right now, since we're just updating all the stuff and now working on all the dates, but usually there's a Facebook group which is called United Bliss, and United Bliss is basically my little company, because there's a lot of things in life that add to your bliss. And there's also the www.unitedbliss.com, and there you have usually on the front page all the upcoming events. And then there's also on the top it says something about sessions, so you can read a little closer about the sessions. Also for men, very good to do the de-armoring work and take a deep look at all these things, which you can also be part of being pregnant and being a good partner. And it also says Academy on the top, and under that spot you have the possibilities of studying at the university, and it also shows the program for next year, basically. And usually Facebook, of course, has the quickest updates on where I am and what I'm offering, because I'm also traveling a lot through Scandinavia and other parts of this beautiful world. And then I usually set up a Facebook thing that I'm available for sessions in different countries, on different festivals, in different towns when I travel. So that's always a possibility. And the last month I did a lot of sessions for journalists and had them write about their experience, and that was quite powerful, because it was very authentic when women write what they experienced during the sessions. That was actually quite beautiful. And a lot of people came and had questions and were asking for sessions. Couples, I mean, even couples who had 4 children together and still had a lot of things to work on, and a lot of things they haven't understood even when they had 4 children together. That's very beautiful. A lot of this will come.
Thank you a lot for your work. It's so important to give this information and the exploration. So I would like to ask whether we have calls, and when you have questions, you can call now and ask. We have 1-2 minutes more, and so wait a moment whether it will be
And
calling.
for example, if it's also possible to come to my practice in Berlin, and since I was talking about nutrition, for example, we also now offer a personal settings on nutrition for pregnancy, for improving your sexual energy, your sex life, and like I said, you can do this mouth water checkup. It's quantum physics, actually.
Yeah.
How to figure that out. All these little things are also happening in Berlin, and you can just add to where you're at the moment. And it's also possible if you feel embarrassed or ashamed to ask a question now, or others can hear it. Of course, there's always the possibility on the United Bliss page to send a private email to me, or get in contact with Anjoka, and she will get you in contact with me. So there's many possibilities to receive some more information.
Yeah, thank you. So our time is over now, and thank you very much for this interview. It was very interesting to know all these details from you. You have a lot of experience and wisdom. Yeah, and we will see us this video of our TV interview. We will save on YouTube, and so a lot of people, I hope, can find this video and this information, and maybe the way to explore their own body, and also to solve the problem, but it's not so problem to get pregnant, and you can ask for support. For example, Celia, or maybe this TV interview will give also the inspiration to the other tantric masseur in the whole world to think about the possibility to support people in the process to get pregnancy. Yeah. So, last words. last words. Thank you,
Thank you very much. And it was a pleasure. It's always so quick that the time rushes by talking about lovely things.
Yes.
Maybe we have to do that again. Or maybe you just come see me soon. But thank you very much for giving me that possibility, and doing all these interviews with all these awesome different people. I really enjoyed watching some of them. That's really nice. And you're doing such a good work to bringing it into the world.
Thank you.
Each of us in our personal way.
Yes, you are right. We are in a connection.
Yeah.
Yes. So then we have our last TV interview in 2 weeks about the issue tantric massage and the problem and the feeling. I have pain when I have menstruation. It will be the next topic. And for today, yes.
Yeah, that's a good topic.
Good topic. And for today, it's time to say goodbye. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
And
Thank you to the team. My pleasure.
Yeah.
Bye to everybody out there.
Yeah. Thank you, Stefan. Thank you, Jeet.
Thank you, Stefan.
And bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Bye.